Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. If you've ever felt frozen, angry, or just completely derailed by someone else's aggressive behavior, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're taking a really powerful, practical psychological toolkit known as nonviolent communication, or NVC for short, and we're applying it directly to the problem of bullying. We're going to learn exactly how to defend your boundaries with total power and grace. And the best part? You never even have to stoop to the aggressor's level.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The root of aggression, 2. Grounding yourself, 3. The 4-part NVC formula, 4. NVC scripts in action, and finally, 5. Defending boundaries. Essentially, we're taking an inside-out approach to stop bullies right in their tracks.
Starting off with Section 1, the root of aggression. Before we can even think about defending ourselves, we have to fundamentally change how we view a bully's behavior. It's time to change that lens.
Now, what's really interesting about this quote from NVC creator Marshall Rosenberg is this fundamental premise. Behind every aggressive action is an unmet need. Look, when a bully attacks, our immediate instinct is to think, oh, this is about me. But this reminds us that bullying usually comes from the aggressor's own deep pain, their fear, or their desperate need for power and control. They're acting out because something inside them is lacking. And honestly, recognizing this, it doesn't excuse their behavior for a second, but it instantly strips away so much of their power over you.
Moving on to Section 2, ground yourself. Mastering your internal state is absolutely critical here, because reacting out of panic or defensive anger, yeah, that never works.
There are 3 vital mental shifts you need to make to master that internal state. First up, listen to the feeling, not the attack. If someone yells at you, try to separate their intense emotion from the actual harsh words they're throwing around. They're basically just broadcasting their own distress. Second, stay connected to your needs, not their story. Don't get pulled into their dramatic narrative about why you're wrong. Just stay focused on what you need right then and there, like basic respect or maybe some physical space. And third, anger is a messenger of an unmet need. Whether it's your anger or theirs, it's really just a signal. Treating these intense emotions as data points helps you respond with strategy instead of just retaliating blindly.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this all builds together into the actual mechanics of NVC. This is the 4-part NVC formula. Okay, here is the core framework. It's 4 simple steps: observation, feeling, need, and request. First, you state a totally neutral observation of what happened. Just the facts, no judgment at all. Second, you state the feeling it brings up in you. Third, state the underlying need that's causing that feeling. And fourth, you make a clear, actionable request. The absolute literal key here is that this formula must be kept short and completely 100% free of blame. Because the second you introduce blame, the other person's defenses just shoot right up and the whole NVC process breaks down entirely. Section 4. NVC scripts in action. Now for the really fun part. We are going to apply this exact formula to some real-world encounters.
All right, picture this first scenario. Imagine you're at work or maybe dealing with a difficult relative. And let's be honest, we all have at least one of those, right? And they are actively insulting you. They are literally calling you names right to your face. It's visceral, it's highly stressful. So how do you respond without escalating things, but while still completely holding your ground?
You use a script exactly like this one. Listen closely to the tone here. When I hear you call me names, I feel hurt because I need respect. Would you be willing to speak without insults? Notice how incredibly calm that is? You have to deliver this with a deliberate, slow, and totally unbothered tone. It demonstrates immense calm power. You aren't yelling back, you aren't crying, you are simply stating the observation. When I hear you call me names, then your feeling, your need, and finally, your request. Brilliant.
Let's tackle another super common scenario. They are cutting you off or interrupting. I mean, we have all been there. It is such an incredibly frustrating experience, trying to speak but constantly being talked over or having your ideas hijacked.
And this response brilliantly illustrates our framework at action. When I'm interrupted, I feel frustrated because I need to be heard. Can I finish my point first? Look at how perfectly this maps back to our 4 steps. When I'm interrupted is your neutral observation. I feel frustrated is the feeling. Because I need to be heard is the need. Can I finish my point first is that actionable request. It clearly states the frustration without aggressively attacking the person who's interrupting you. It simply resets the rules of engagement right then and there.
Now let's look at a much more insidious form of bullying, dealing with untrue things being said behind your back. Spreading rumors is a pretty cowardly form of aggression, and it can be incredibly damaging precisely because it doesn't happen right to your face.
The crucial point about this response is how it completely disarms that toxic gossip. You approach the person and calmly say, "When I hear things said about me that aren't true, I feel uneasy because I need honesty. Can we talk directly about what's bothering you?" See, you're pulling the conflict right out of the shadows. By demanding a direct, honest conversation about whatever the underlying issue is, you're forcing the bully to step into the light. You aren't aggressively accusing them of lying, you're just focusing on your own need for honesty and inviting them to have a mature dialogue.
Moving into Section 5, defending boundaries. Learning how to set boundaries fast is absolutely crucial, because sometimes you just don't have the time, the energy, or even the safety to engage in a full 4-step NVC dialogue. You need to quickly protect your mental peace.
So this is about setting a boundary fast. There are moments when aggression just requires an immediate, non-negotiable halt before any deeper conversation can even think about beginning.
This right here is your emergency brake. Stop. I'm not okay with being spoken to like that. I'm willing to talk if we can keep it respectful. The power of that very first word, stop, literally cannot be overstated. It is a clear, firm command. It sets an uncompromising condition for any future interaction. And notice, it's still technically nonviolent. You aren't insulting them back, but it is fiercely, fiercely protective of your own boundaries.
I want to pause here for a second to clarify a massive misconception. The myth is that nonviolent communication means being a doormat. That by not fighting back aggressively, you're just letting people walk all over you. But the reality is the exact opposite. NVC means stating your boundary with crystal clarity, without attacking back. And honestly, here's the secret. Most bullies actually back right off when they don't get the reactive, retaliatory drama they're looking for. When you remain a calm, immovable object, their aggressive energy simply bounces right off of you.
Use this incredible quote from Eleanor Roosevelt as a total mental reset whenever you feel your boundaries being tested. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. It perfectly anchors the entire core message of this explainer. You hold the keys to your internal state. You literally have the power to reclaim your personal power in any interaction simply by choosing exactly how you respond.
As we wrap up today, let's quickly summarize these final tenets of internal strength from Marshall Rosenberg. First, you are responsible for what you say, not what they understand. You could deliver a flawless NVC script, and they might still react badly. That's on them. That is their work, not yours. Second, empathy is understanding the human underneath. You don't have to agree with the bully to understand they're just acting from a place of unmet needs. And finally, speak honestly and listen empathically. Those are the absolute twin pillars of true interpersonal strength.
Which leaves us with one final question to really ponder. Think about a conflict you're currently facing in your life. Will you choose to listen to the feeling underneath the attack in your next difficult encounter? Will you use these tools to step out of that toxic cycle of retaliation and defend your boundaries with true power and grace? The choice and the script is now entirely yours. Thanks for joining this explainer.